Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K YouTube live video, and I am just out here taking a peek at my YouTube page and making sure that everything is good to go and pulling up the video so that I can see your comments, at least hopefully can see your comments. So looks like we are good to go and I'm in the right place, and hopefully I'll have a few people join me live, and if not, watching the replay is always awesome too. So I appreciate you being here, and if you are here, feel free to say hello and let me know you're here, and if not, if you're watching the replay, then that's fantastic too. So I appreciate it no matter when you watch. All right, so let me scoot this up and over here just a little bit, and hopefully we will be a little more centered. So today I decided it would be fun to make a little bit of a Christmas card. Christmas in July, I guess, is a real thing. I don't know. I'm trying to get ahead on my Christmas cards this year. So hi, Barbara and Jeanette and Beth and Pam. I see y'all are here. So I appreciate you being here and saying hello and joining me for a live video today. So this is the card we're going to be making. So I played with the Snow Wonder stamp set bundle. So let's start with that. This is the stamp set, which has got, you know, kind of some more what I'll call maybe vintagey snow images in it, snowman images. I liked it a lot. I like the sentiments in it. I think it's a nice stamp set. I love that it's got things for both inside and outside of the card. So hey, Linda and Catherine, I see you're here as well, and Susan. So I'm glad that you made it live. So thanks so much for joining me. So again, here's our stamp set that we've got today, and it is bundled in the new catalog, the new Stampin' Up! Catalog, which is the August to December 2020 mini catalog. It's available now for demonstrators to pre-order from, so if you're interested in joining, now is a great time to join because you can pre-order items from the new catalog, and it'll be available for customers to order from starting on August 4th, so that is awesome. So, all right, I see a bunch more. It looks like Leanne is here, and Alice, and Norma, and Terry Hendricks is here. All right, so nice to see you all. So I think I got everybody. So anyway, I appreciate y'all joining. So this is the die set that's bundled. And again, these are bundled together for 10% off in the new catalog, which will be available again for customers to start ordering on August 4th. So this is a great die set. It actually, you know, we've got the snowman die that obviously coordinates with your snowman. And then we have the tree die that coordinates with your trees, and the wreath coordinates obviously with your wreath. And then we've got a couple of them here for sentiments, which is always a good thing. I love it when they put sentiment dies in here as well. And then these, it's really hard to see these in the catalog, so I'm going to hold them up a little bit closer to the camera. Hopefully you'll be able to catch them. These are actually dies that just emboss, they don't cut, so that's a very cool little feature that they've got some embossing dies on there. In the catalog they look like a big rectangle. It's a terrible picture of them in there, so just wanted you to have an opportunity to take a peek at those real closely, but those are the actual dies, and again, they just emboss, they don't cut. So all right, so let me set that aside for a second. One other die set that I used on this card, which is quickly becoming one of my like new favorite go-to dies for everything that needs to be cut kind of in a larger area around. This is the Hippo and Friends dies, and I used this particular, the largest octagon die from this set for the background behind the little snowman. So, oh, you love the snowflakes? Yeah, so they're very, very pretty. And like I said, it's an awesome, it's a good bundle, you know? So, all right, quickly before I get rolling on the video or on the card project, I just wanted to remind you about bonus days from Stampin' Up! That are going on. The bonus days earning period is going on now. So you earn during the month of July, so any orders between July 1st and August 3rd, you earn a $5 off coupon for every $50 that you spend in an order. And those actually then can be redeemed beginning on August 4th through August 31st. So it is great timing because you can earn your free, earn your $5 off coupons this month with your orders, and then redeem them next month when the new holiday catalog starts, which is an awesome, awesome deal. So just wanted to let you know about that. And if you have questions about it, let me know. The details are posted out on my blog as well. And for those of you that don't have my blog information, it is stampwithamyk.com. I try to keep it pretty simple. So, all right, so we are going to start with a Pacific Point card base, and this one is actually cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4 1/4. My original card I actually did, as I usually do, kind of the more portrait mode on this one. So this one is cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5.5. But again, you end up with the same exact card in the end, just a little different way that it opens, that's all. Hey, Rosie, glad that you are here today. All right, so we have got, I went ahead and did a little bit of cutting ahead of time. Oops, and I think this is the way these go together. Yep. And I'm not that it really matters because it's kind of a generic snowflake look on the background. But I actually, when I cut the panel, it's 3 5/8 across. And of course, I should have measured the whole thing because I chopped it up right away. And it is 4 5/8, so 3 5/8 by 4 5/8 panel. And then I cut off 1 1/4 off the bottom. So that basically I ended up with 2 pieces. So, hey, Krista, I'm glad you're here as well. So, oh, golly, I dropped my adhesive. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Stampin' Seal, and we're going to adhere this to some panels of Pacific Point cardstock. And all the measurements are going to be posted on my blog tomorrow, and I know that I will say them wrong if I start trying to say them here in the video. So peek at my blog post tomorrow. I will link it up as soon as the post goes live, so you'll have the measurements for it. But the Pacific Point cardstock I cut to basically 1/8 of an inch larger than I've got the designer paper panels, and you know, I probably could have written them all down and tried to remember to say them right, but I never do. I always get it mixed up. Even when I have stuff written down, I still get it wrong. So check the blog because that's always got the right information on it. So all right, can use a little seal, and we're just going to adhere the pieces together. And again, it's a super sticky adhesive, and I'm really liking it. It took me kind of a minute to get used to using it. It's a little different than snail was, but I do love it a lot better. It holds things so much better. I had a terrible time with snail. I don't know if any of you guys had success using it. I did not. So it was not my favorite adhesive ever. So I'm really happy that we've got one that's really super sticky and it works well. All right, so when I adhered these on the back or on the card front, I basically adhered them flat down with seal and just tried to get it so that there was an even edge. Hopefully I got it fairly even. Now that I'm looking at it, I feel like I'm a little bit crooked on the one side. So I think that hopefully I got it fairly straight and even on there. Again, just going to adhere down the bottom piece as well with a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to flip it so that my snowflakes kind of match up even though they're chopped in the middle. And again, just doing the same thing on the bottom, trying to get it so that it's an even spacing around the edges. That was my main goal with the background. I wanted a little break in the middle, but didn't necessarily care that it's exactly precisely the same. So. All right, so next up, this is Whisper White cardstock, and I went ahead and pre-cut it with, again, the largest of the octagon dies from the Hippo and Friends dies. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping with the Snow Wonder stamp set. So I've got Old Olive ink here. Just going to open that up quickly and ink up the tree image from the Snow Wonder stamp set. Looks like I've got it, decent coverage on it. And I'm going to stamp it here. I stamped it a little bit higher on here because my snowman is going to be covering kind of the lower part on the front. So there we go. Got the trees stamped on there. And then I'm going to set that aside and let it dry for a second. And I also did this ahead of time, cut it and stamped it and cut it ahead of time so that it would be really dry before I went ahead and started the coloring on it. So this is Whisper White cardstock, and it is the snowman image from the Snow Wonder stamp set, and I stamped it in Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we are just going to start by doing a little bit of coloring. So I have got light and dark smoky slate, and that is what I'm going to color the little snowman's hat with. Or snow woman, I guess I shouldn't call it. I don't know if it's a snowman or a snow woman. Maybe we'll call it a snow woman today. So it looks, yeah, I don't know, with a little scarf and the hat, I'd say snow woman. Then I've got dark smoky slate that I'm coming back in. And again, these images, it's super easy to tell where you should be doing the shading on it because there are already all those dark lines on it. So it makes it lots easier for people like me who kind of aren't great at coloring to know exactly where to put in the dark and where to keep it a little bit lighter. So, all right, then I just went back with the light smoky slate and did a little bit of blending on it. Snow person, you're probably right. That's probably better, Catherine. Then we don't have to designate man or woman. We'll just call it snow person. I like that. All right, so we have got light and dark Old Olive, and we're going to color a little bit here on the holly. And the scarf I also did with Old Olive, and the nice thing about this is you, again, with this image in particular, you do not have to be really very good at coloring in order to get a great image and to have it look like you know what you're doing, because a lot of the shading and everything is all done for you. So you don't really have to think too hard about it. It's kind of just, you know, putting in the light, putting in a little bit of the dark, and then blending the two together. So this would be a good one if you're new to coloring with blends. This might be a good image to sort of start with, or a good stamp set to start with, to do a little bit of coloring on, because again, it's very forgiving, and it's really easy to color. So again, coming back in with the light Old Olive and just adding a little bit of blending here on the areas where I added in some of the darker Old Olive. So, all right, I think we're gonna call that good on Old Olive. And then I'm gonna come back in here. Love Snowman, you'll definitely get this stamp set. Yes, this is a good one. It's really, you know, kind of, like I said, it's sort of the vintage feel to it, but I don't know. I liked the images a lot, and I like that it's got some nice sentiments, and I love that it's got some that go inside and outside the card. So definitely a nice little bonus there. And now I'm just adding in a little bit of Poppy Parade to put the little holly berries on the hat. And next up, we're going to do a little bit of coloring, a tiny little bit with pumpkin pie. And I'm just doing the little carrot nose, putting the light on first, and then coming back in and adding a little bit of the dark. And again, just barely touching it with that, almost no ink on that one at all. And then I've got cinnamon cider, light and dark, and just going to color over the little twigs or sticks or whatever you call them for his arms. And maybe just a tiny little bit of the dark. I think we'll come back in here and put a little bit of dark in there, and you can really hardly see that once you're all done with it. And then the last thing that I did was I took the light Pool Party marker, and anywhere there was a little bit of the dark shading on the snowman, I kind of went over it with the Pool Party marker, just to give it a little bit of color and a little bit, I don't know, I feel like it made it look a little more realistic. I don't know if it really does or not, but in my mind it does, just to add a little bit of color around the edge of the snowman. And then after I added that in, I actually came back in with the color lifter, because I thought it was almost too much color. So then I came back in with the color lifter and sort of did my little scribbly technique of coloring right over the top of it. So that lightens it and blends it a little bit. And depending on how much you color, depends on how light it gets. So if you want it a little bit lighter and just barely being able to see the pool party, color over it more. If you want a little bit darker and to be able to see the pool party a little bit better, then color over it a little bit less and a little bit lighter. So you were on the fence about this set, and since yeah, it's a good one. I think, like I said, it's hard to see the images really in the catalog, particularly the die set in the catalog. So definitely, it's one of those that you almost have to see it up close, in person, whatever, used for real on a video to be able to see it. So, all right, so that is all I did for coloring on the body. Again, I just sort of tried to blend it a little bit. And as you can see, I did go a little out of the lines with my cinnamon cider. And all that you have to do if you do that is just take your color lifter and sort of push it back inside the lines and give it a second, and that will be, it'll disappear and you won't even be able to tell that you had a little boo-boo and colored out of the lines. So sometimes it takes a second or a third time of kind of pushing that color back, but usually you can get it. I've even been able to get some of the reds to kind of disappear when I've made a mess of coloring before. So, all right. Oh, I'm a great enabler. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Rosie. That's my whole goal in doing this, you know, in life, is to become an enabler, to make sure that you all buy as much as I do, so because I can't be the only one who buys everything in the catalog. So, all right, so adding a little bit of Stampin' Seal to the back of my snowman, and then I'm going to just adhere it to the die cut that I'd already done ahead of time, the Hippo and Friends die cut with the tree stamped on the background. And then I'm going to add a couple Stampin' Dimensionals. Well, my half Stampin' Dimensionals. So see, there's where I save all my money, is I don't use the full Stampin' Dimensionals. So, well, yes, Catherine, I'm glad to hear that you have. So And it happens, I know. So, all right. Linda says that you love the blends also. Yes, they're like the best markers. I never really was too into coloring. Again, not that I'm excellent at using them, but I never really liked to color with the regular Stampin' Write markers because I just felt like they didn't look very nice. When you got all done, you did all the work coloring, trying to blend them, trying to make them look pretty, and then they never really looked very good, at least in my opinion, when I was done coloring. Some people really have skills with them. I just don't. So next up, we're going to do a little bit of, loving the bundle, not the blends. Good heavens, love the bundle. Sorry, Linda. I thought it said blends when I glanced overhead. Yes, it's an excellent bundle too. So, all right, Pacific Point, we're going to do a little stamping with the sentiment. And I just used the Happy Christmas sentiment, kept it pretty simple on the card front with that. And stamping it on Whisper White cardstock. And I'm going to close that up before I stick my fingers in that. And then the using the blends all the time, Jackie. Yes, they're awesome. So, hey, Charlotte, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you like the card too. So, so the die that I used is again from this bundle. It's from the Snow Time dies. That's what the name of the dies are. So I'm going to use that. Just wheel over here to my die cutting machine off to the side and cut out the sentiment with that. And I'll hopefully cut it straight on the first try. All right, so I'm going to crank it through the machine here. I think I did it okay. It seems to look all right. One thing that I did notice on this, and I don't know if it was intentional on it or not, but it almost leaves like a little, hopefully you can see it, I'll try to get it in the right light, but it leaves like a little embossed edge around it, which I actually really like. I think that adds kind of a nice finished touch to the die cuts when it does that. So, oh, we just sat down to take a break from cleaning. Well, yay. Anytime, housework can always come later. That's my thought on it. So I'm going to use a Stampin' Dimensional under this edge because it's going to be hanging off of where I've got the snowman at. And then I'm going to use a little Stampin' Seal under the other side, hopefully, if I can get it to go far enough ahead here. There we go. And peel off the dimensional cover here. And we're just going to go ahead and adhere the two pieces together. And again, I'm going to put this straight here. And so hopefully my eye will see it straight and I will stick it down straight on the card front. It does look like I need a little dimensional under here. So I'm going to peel off both sides of the dimensional cover and take my snips, stick it to my snips, and then just jam it underneath. That's kind of how I do it. Anytime I find a little spot there like that where it's a little difficult to get underneath with another dimensional, I just take my snips, stick it on my snips, stick it underneath, and then smoosh it down, and then it sticks on both sides. So, all right. Last thing for the card front is I have got some of the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and I'm going to use a couple of I believe these are actually Night of Navy. In color, but I know Night of Navy was one of the colors in the designer paper pack with the Snowflake Splendor, which I don't know if I even said that. Snowflake Splendor is the name of the designer paper that I used on the background. Goodness, if I missed it, I apologize. But I believe Pacific Point and Night of Navy, I think, are both in that pack. So I thought the rhinestones worked well with it that way. So. All right, so that is the card front. The inside of the card I kept fairly simple as well. Just did a little stamping with Pacific Point ink for the sentiment. And then Tuxedo Black Memento ink for the little wreath image. And again, these are both from the Snow Wonder stamp set. And I'm going to hope that I get this stamped on here fairly straight, which I think that worked. And again, the wreath is going to be Memento Black ink. Stamp it right underneath the sentiment. And while I'm stamping this, and I'm going to getting ready to color it with Old Olive and Pacific Point Stampin' Blends. While I'm coloring that, and stamping and coloring that, I should say, just going to remind you that I've got a Designer Series paper share that I'm doing with all the new holiday catalog. Oh, I called it holiday again. The August to December mini catalog. Someday I'm going to get that all right. But I do have a Designer Series paper share that I am offering. So if you live in the U.S. and are interested in getting a nice sampling of all of the new designer papers from the new catalog coming out on August 4th, the details are posted on my blog. which is, again, stampwithamyk.com. So you can go out and take a peek at my designer paper options. I've got a couple of different choices out there. So if you're interested in joining, feel free to drop me an email, let me know, or fill out my little form that I've got on my designer paper share page, and let me know which paper share you're interested in, and I'll be sending out some PayPal invoices toward the end of July and ordering the paper just as quickly as I can on August 4th and getting it chopped up and sent back out to you right away as well. So, all right. Susan says, oh, from Suffolk, England. All right, very nice. And love the wreath inside. Yes, it's really pretty. And I love that it's got a die to go with it too. So always a good thing in my mind. Dies, pretty much anything that's a die and stamp set, I'm sold. Dies or punches and stamp sets, I'm sold. So bundles for, Stamp It Up definitely knows how to get me to buy all those things. All they have to do is put dies with it and sold. So, all right. So again, I'm coloring over the wreath image here with light and dark Old Olive Stampin' Blends markers. And hopefully I'm getting most of the little leaves colored in here. And just coming back in, just doing a little blending and kind of filling in any of the white spaces that looks like I've missed with my light Old Olive. All right, and then we're going to color the bow, and we'll be all done. Well, the bow, and I've got a few little berries in the wreath that I was going to do too. So this is Light Poppy Parade Stampin' Blends. I'm just going to color up my bow, and hopefully I will not totally go out of the lines. When I colored my first one, I actually went totally out of the lines with Poppy Parade. I don't know what I was doing. Apparently not paying attention. Oh, there I went out of the lines. Yikes. So we'll just use the color lifter again. That was how I fixed it the first time. So just adding in a little bit of dark Poppy Parade in a few of the shaded areas. And then going to come back in and try to blend them a little bit and hopefully not make another huge mess and go way out of the lines. And then there are some little holly berries that are here. Well, I think they're holly berries. I'm not sure, whatever, mistletoe, I don't know. I don't know my plants well. So and anybody that does, I'm sure will correct me, but I don't know. They look like holly berries to me, so that's what I'm going with as far as the names of them. So I don't know my plants very well. And someday I'll learn them all, and then I'll forget them anyway. So, all right. So, hello from the Netherlands as well. Glad that you're here joining today. So, hey, Sue, no problem at all. You can always catch the replay later if you really want to watch it again. So like I said, I colored out of the lines again, so I'm just going to take my color lifter and sort of scribble along the edge and push that red ink right back inside the lines again. And particularly with the reds, you'll see I usually have to give it a second, let it dry, and then come back in and color over it again. And usually after the second or third time of doing that, then the red disappears as well. So nice little trick, little tip, whatever you want to say, for if you make little boo-boos like I do when you're coloring, because you're not very neat about it. That's my one trick that I have, is just make sure that you have your color lifter handy. And I don't know why it's always the reds and the dark colors that I tend to make the biggest mess with. The light colors, never, because those are easy to push back in the lines. So, all right, just using a little Stampin' Seal to adhere the inside of the card together here. And then we're going to use the bone folder to do a quick crease along the edge. And we are done with the card for today. So this is the card we made on camera today. This is my little sample that I'd made ahead of time. Hopefully you enjoyed the card share today, and hopefully you'll consider getting this stamp set. Gosh, I hope. Hopefully, am I frozen? Oh, sorry if I was frozen for a second. I don't know. I had a little notification pop up on my phone, so I apologize if I was frozen. Hopefully y'all are back. Anyhow, so I forgot what I was saying. Oh, cards. So these are the two cards that I made. This one was my sample card. This is the card that we made here on the video today. So might get it done, although, oh, hell, the cleaning part, So M&M's for cheap labor on cleaning. Yeah, I don't know. I've been able to con my daughter into doing some of the cleaning around here too, thank goodness. So, all right. So that is the card share for today, and I apologize again. Hopefully I didn't freeze, but I will plan to be back on Facebook Live next week, Tuesday, around 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And again here on YouTube Live, again next week, Friday, around 2 o'clock Eastern Time with more projects for you. And have a fantastic rest of your weekend. And I'm sure we'll be seeing y'all again soon. Thanks so much.